I'm Oprah as a dude, and I love you all. All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reyes Reflection podcast. Make sure you check out the episode bio for exclusive deals from Jocko Fuel, Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare, and SMACKIN Sunflower Seeds. My guest joining me today has had an absolutely electric couple of years. Last time we talked, she was out there on national television, turning chairs, warming hearts, the whole deal. Since then, you may ask, she's been touring with her group. She got married, invited me out to Arctic conditions for a halftime show. I went, froze every bone in my body, and watched her group perform. Contrary to those conditions, though, she's on a heater with life, music, and everything in between. We're going to dive into it all. Ladies and gentlemen, she's joining me again, this time by herself, the one and only Courtney Hooker. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, friend.
Is that the maiden name, Hooker?
Yes, it is. So we were joking about it for a while because I was like, you know what? Maybe you should take my last name,
Yeah.
And he actually wasn't opposed to it. He wasn't.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And you want to know why?
Why?
I kept like, I got like a flyway here. Good Lord. Um, because his middle name is Las Vegas. So I know.
Interesting.
Yeah. LOS Vegas. It's a family thing. And so I was like, dude, how iconic would it be if you took my last name, Brendan Las Vegas Hooker, right?
That would be a
But
name. That'd
it
be a
would.
name.
It would. But we ended up going the more traditional route. So I haven't officially changed it yet, but so it's still Hooker for now, and it's going to stay Hooker for like stage purposes. All my music's under Hooker, so we'll keep it for the platform, but then I'll change my name legally.
Okay. Stay tuned. Yeah. It's so good seeing you again. Last time we saw each other was about a year ago at this point, right? It was
Mhm.
first week of December when you performed, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
All our memories are starting to pop up, and you remember how freezing it was there.
It was so cold. It
It
was so
was
cold.
so cold.
It was so cold. So you remember how cold it was that day? Because I swear, like, I was freezing for about a week after the fact.
Oh my gosh, right? Oh my goodness. But not gonna lie, I'm a bit like I love winter,
Yeah.
so I will take that any day over the 100-degree heat.
Oh,
Any
really?
day. Oh yeah,
Yeah. See, I'm more of a fall guy. I like fall.
me too.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my favorite,
Yeah,
but
me too.
I love the snow. So honestly, being in Foxborough
Yeah.
that weekend, I was just like living my best life. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't love freezing, but being there, being able to hang out together and stuff, that was so much fun. So I'm like, the cold, we'll brace it.
Yeah. And it was just an awesome opportunity. I mean, I know the Patriots weren't relatively that good back then, but they're
At that
great
time,
now. I mean, like,
dude,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Can you talk about how you got that opportunity?
Yeah. So my dad has actually worked in sports like his entire, or at least my entire life, right? Um, and so he actually worked for the Patriots for a little bit. He's had
Okay.
kind of connections throughout, the NBA, all of that stuff. So he actually isn't there anymore, but he had connections through that. And then obviously with us being on The Voice and everything, he was just like, hey, if you guys are some people, um, even just to perform like the anthem, that's initially what it was going to be.
Right.
And I'm sure that they were just like, oh, this dude just plugged his daughter.
Yeah.
And then when they were like, yeah, what does she do? And then he showed the video of The Voice. They were like, oh, absolutely, let's have them do halftime too. So very thankful to my dad for shoving us some people's way, and then obviously thankful for the opportunity for Voice to be able to use that platform to move forward.
So he just reached out. I mean, talk about a perfect don't ask, don't get type of situation, right? Like,
Right.
if you don't ask for the opportunity, it may never happen. So,
Mhm.
I mean, even if they had said no, but the fact that you put your name in that hat, it's an option, right? It's like, oh, I remember seeing that name or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, obviously he uses connections, which is fantastic. I mean, that's why we cultivate these relationships and these professional connections so that way in the future, like myself, if I need a podcast episode, I say, "Hey, Courtney, come on
Heck
over," and you're
yeah.
gonna go ahead and do it. Yeah. So it's been 2 years since we actually sat down and talked because that day there was just a lot of hustle and bustle,
Mm.
and you were there, you were here. I think even we weren't even able to grab a picture just because we were all over the place. So crazy day. It's been 2 years. What has changed the most for you post show?
I would probably say, I mean, obviously, I think everybody says this, like the exposure, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And actually being able to use that as like a marketing platform as well, you know?
Right. For sure.
Um, Also, being like recognized at places too. We had actually recently had a show like a couple weeks ago, and a girl came up and she was like, we hadn't mentioned the show or anything like that, and she was like, "Were you guys on The Voice?" And we were like, "Yeah, we were." So it's cool to people like coming up and being like, "I watched you, I follow you on social media," and not knowing the person, but they know of us. And
Right.
then we get to form new relationships from them coming and being like, I followed you guys' journey. Um, and so it's been really special, to get opportunities that maybe we wouldn't have gotten because of the show. So,
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about it, right? Is whether you have a long run in that show or whether it's cut brief,
yeah,
you still get these opportunities awarded to you for being in a national spotlight, right? And like all things, right, there can be pros and cons to that. You can be open up yourself for unnecessary criticism, but the
for
fact
sure.
that you have these opportunities, I think they're just marvelous. Does it feel weird to think back about The Voice now? And does it feel like just a fever dream at this point, like a different era? Like, how are you processing the fact that you were on that show? And, obviously there's been new seasons since,
Mhm.
but how are you processing that you were on that show and that you lived that experience?
Oh my gosh, it's been a crazy, like you said, it really is like a fever dream.
Yeah.
Um, I think about that time in my life and our lives together and like, living in a hotel together. And it's like crazy to think that we actually did that for a
Yeah.
span of however many months, while we were on the show. And like still working a full-time job doing that as well, because I was working remotely during that whole thing. Um, and so it's incredible to be able to think about the fact that we had the opportunity to do something that, not everybody gets to do.
Right.
And even though, kind of like you said, maybe it was like a shorter time span, it's something that I would have never traded for anything because the growth that I experienced um, personally and together as a group is something that I wouldn't change for anything. I remember thinking we were actually running our blind audition song because we have a show in a couple days and we're gonna sing that. And as we're like doing the choreography, we haven't performed it in a bit. It just all came back to me like that one moment when the three chairs turned around, within however many seconds.
Yeah.
And I just kind of sat there afterwards and I was like, oh my, do you guys like just, does it just come back to you in waves sometimes? Because like you said, it feels like a dream. It almost is like, that wasn't us, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Um, but in that moment, it just all the feelings flooded back again and how fun the blind audition was and how scary it was in the beginning. But then when we were like made it, then it was like, this is the best performance. Like this is the best show to be a part of. So
Yeah.
it's been incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. As a group, you talked about how you have your group has seen a new side of recognition in the sense of you
Mhm.
can go out and maybe you're not performing but people still recognize you. Not just that aspect, how have you as a group and even yourself grown as a person since that show in terms of your performance, your confidence, that type of stuff?
Oh yeah. Um, like I said, it truly makes me like, I think, more humbled as an artist to be a part of something so incredible. Because, like I said, not everybody gets to be a part of something like that. And the fact that we were, and we got the coaching that we did, and not even just from obviously the coaches on the show, but everybody behind the scenes. I can tell you that one of my biggest things that I tell everybody when they were like, what was it like? I would just love to go back and work with the musicians, you know, and I think
Mm,
it's built my me personally, my confidence up to where I'm like, anything that's scary, you know, that I'm like, you know, because everybody gets that way where it's just
yeah.
like, you know, you get scared to try something new, or you gotta kind of are like pushed out of your comfort zone. I would like, I go back and I think about all the preparation and stepping on that stage and being absolutely terrified to the point where I was like, I'm gonna throw up like right before we go on, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I remember how I feel or how I felt then,
Yeah.
and then we went out and we did it, you know? And
Yeah.
the happiness that we all felt after the fact, I was like, I feel like I can push through anything at this point, you know?
Right.
Obviously, preparation and like learning that aspect of it has made me a better artist as well. It's made me more prepared. It's made me more professional in the, you know, professional music scene here in Oklahoma, making sure that I'm the best artist that I can truly be. Because honestly, outside of the show as well, sorry, I feel like I'm like, yep, yep, yep.
Please go everywhere. Go everywhere
I
you
love
can.
it.
You're good. Yes.
Um, but meeting the people that we met on the show, like I said, humbled me, but also made me believe that I'm like, we all can do this. You know,
Mm,
like if these are our dreams, shoot for them, you know. But something that I've also realized here in Oklahoma is how much talent we have here and how blessed I am to perform with the musicians here as well. Because even though I had that experience, I'm still consistently performing with musicians that are incredible
mm,
and make me want to become a better musician, you know?
yeah.
So the confidence, as you mentioned, for sure is huge. I think about, like I said, how scared I was at that time. But I'm like, you know what? We did that. Why can't we do this? Why can't we do this? Like,
Of
you know?
course. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you all perform individually, right? You all
Hmm.
also, on top of your group, you all have your own songs and write your own songs and perform your own songs. Do you find that you've been able to be more creative since that experience? And are you finding that you're able to carve a path of your own by yourself as well as your group?
Yes, absolutely. So something that I feel like I never really like pushed into because, you know, as a young girl, because we started, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but when we started, we were 12, 14, and 16. So of
Yes.
course, yes, at that time I'm like, I don't even know who I am. You know, I don't even know what I want to do,
Yeah.
what type of artist I am. We're still learning all of that. And so when we came back together, we were adults. And so we had more of the like the framework of what we wanted to be. But the
Yep.
really cool thing about each of us individually is that we all three have different styles.
Mm,
I'm more country. Ken is definitely more like R&B. And then Sierra definitely falls in like the pop type scene. And she also does musical theater as well. So she's heavily involved in that scene here. Um, so when we come together and write, we all have three different styles
yeah.
that we're bringing, and three different creative minds, obviously, that we bring together. But something that I realized from the show as a solo artist as well is really leaning into your craft
Mm,
um, and not being afraid of that, I guess, you know, because obviously as we were younger and we were working with people, they were definitely trying to shape us into something, you know?
mm-hmm.
And so, kind of as you've said, I was always terrified of songwriting, honestly, like as I got older.
Yeah.
I was like, "Ah, I don't really know if I'd be any good at this." And truthfully, as I've gotten older and I've just started doing it, as I'm like getting older and I'm also gaining more experience as well as the show. Um, I've learned that just like specifically writing from my experiences has really helped me. And being a part of so many other artists' lives as well, like on the show that we met and hearing their songwriting and just collabing and different things like that and hearing other people's experiences has helped shape me into kind of figuring out exactly what path I want to go down, and my specific music. And really leaning into that craft while also having the trio, which is amazing because obviously, like, we can do our music together, but I can still go down my avenue of country music and really leaning into that.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I feel like you told me that that was one of the biggest reasons for separation originally was just everyone wanted to kind of do their own path. So the fact that you have found this healthy balance of being able to be a trio while at the same time you're all performing your own craft, because if you all have different, stylistically, if you want to try one thing and they don't want to try it, then you're kind of like, all right, well, I mean, I feel talented in this regard, but it's like being a team, it's like anything in like that, right? Any collaboration, you're going to have to do some advocating for yourself, some jousting back and forth, kind of being like, well, I want to try this, but you don't really want to try it, so let me try it this way. And it sounds like you all have been doing a great job. Clearly I've been following you guys since then, and I've seen all the work that you've been doing. I always try to type in, hey, you all are superstars, you're doing great.
Yay.
Like, that's something I love to do.
Thank
just
you.
because I believe in just watering that plant so that way we can all continue to grow for sure.
Absolutely. And it helps.
Yeah.
Like, especially with, like you said, dealing with the criticism, especially like when the show aired, having to have some thick skin for sure, but also knowing who you are as an artist, knowing who we are as a group, and just staying put in that. It helps having people like you who are constantly encouraging for sure.
What's to laugh about it, not to
Oh, yeah.
reminisce on stress. What's the wildest, crazy comment that you remember when you were on the show that you're like, I can't even believe that they would say something like this?
Okay, the craziest part, I guess, was that a lot of people commented on like our weight or our looks or just like, picking us apart. Um, and obviously as like, as a young woman, that's difficult to read because truthfully, as a young woman, we're already picking ourselves apart.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, those were probably like the most difficult to get through. But truthfully, I'm the type of person that, like I said, I was like, dude, we just got up on a platform that many people don't get to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay in that moment,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then there were just crazy, like, just random comments. I'm sure, just like trolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that type
half
of
of those people are just no name, nameless, no profile trolls that are
Right.
just trying to create a reaction for no reason whatsoever. And oftentimes I find that that's insecurities within themselves, right? Like,
Right.
there's an opportunity that they didn't take or that they missed, or and so because of that, when they see somebody else, they go ahead and they want to just create fallacies by just saying ridiculous things like that. And honestly, there's no space for that. And the truth is they would never say something like that to your face. And that's
Right.
that's what I hang my hat on, is that because I've received, I'm not even in a national spotlight, but I've seen some comments even within myself that I'm like,
For sure.
how can you be so quick to say something like that without knowing who I am, without any sort of thing? I've, some weird ones. I've posted some videos on TikTok and they're like, bro, you have a lazy eye, or get your eye checked, or some random things like that. And I'm like,
What?
I mean, maybe I do. I don't know. I don't notice
No,
it, but
you don't.
maybe. I mean, it is. But even if I did, it's like, who cares? Like,
Right.
I mean, that doesn't define who I am. So I think oftentimes it's just people are, it's I forget where I heard this from, but it said when somebody does something or somebody's not happy with something, oftentimes it's because individuals are mirrors, and so when they see three confident women on stage breaking it down, the world loving it, they're like, man, I wish I could have that. And so
Right.
they almost want to find a reason to break you down, because clearly you all did an amazing thing. Clearly you're all doing hard things. And to me, I'm like, dude, like, get a life, bro. Get a life. Like, come on,
Oh,
man.
let me tell you, I don't know about you, but sometimes, especially when the video leaked, I
Yeah.
was like, I'm turning off my comments. I'm turning
Yeah.
up my phone on do not, which not all of it was bad. We had a lot of support, which was incredible, and
Mm-hmm.
you just really have to focus on that. And again, focusing on knowing who you are,
Yep.
knowing what you do and being confident in that. And that's something
Yes.
that I can say that my parents have always taught me throughout my life. And I'm very, very thankful for that, is just being confident in who I am, knowing that if you put your mind to something, you can do it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I definitely, like I said, a lot of it was a lot of support too. People texting me
Right.
and being
Of
like, "Oh my
course.
goodness," which was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a lot, and so having to kind of, there's a reason why you kind of have to go through stages and you have to talk to people and just make sure that you're in a good headspace when you're going through something like that.
Absolutely. That's a great piece of advice. And if you could fall back on anything, you have a husband that towers over most individuals. And go, no, I'm just
Right?
when I met Courtney's husband at the time, I believe he was your fiance. When I met him, I was
Hmm.
like, "This is a big guy. This is
When I
wow."
met him, I was like, this is a big guy.
Yeah.
Because we met online.
Oh, no
So,
way. Oh, okay.
and so when we
Yeah.
met for the first time, he walked through the door and I was like, hello?
Yeah.
And me, I'm like 5'1"
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
6'6".
I know.
So
I know.
you should see our some of our wedding pictures. I'll
Yeah,
have
you'll have
to
to send them to
show
me. Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When I met him in person, admittedly, I'm gonna be completely candid. When I
Okay.
first saw him approaching, I thought he was like a Patriots player. I thought he was in like an NFL player. Like this might
He
boost
will
his
love
ego.
that.
I saw him coming towards me, and I go, "Is this some like retired player or something like that?" Just because none of that. He has he's a strong guy. He has a
He
big
is.
physique. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, as we're complimenting your husband, he's gonna listen to
He
this
would
and be
say,
like,
"Thank you so much,
yeah, he's
everybody."
gonna be
He
like, "I
works
got two
hard.
big fans, Courtney and Nathaniel." All
There
right.
you go. Exactly. It's so funny too, because like I said, he truly is an inspiration to me every single day as well, because he is the most hardworking, the most dedicated man that I've ever met. And I think he's so incredibly supportive and he pushes me every single day in my career, and how he can support me better, and um just encouraging me all the time. So he was really helpful also during the process, because like I said, he was my rock for sure. And then yeah, at the Patriots, I'm so glad you got to meet him too.
Yeah, yeah, he was
He's
awesome. Yeah,
funny. He's very stoic. He's very quiet, but total
yeah.
opposites with from me.
Hey, they attract, right? So
They
now that
do.
we're talking about him, let's transition into that beautiful day, your glorious day, your wedding day.
Yeah.
Pictures online look beautiful. We have to talk about this. You got married, which is huge. How has that chapter been for you now?
Honestly, I feel like it hasn't changed too much, because we were already living together for a while. He was actually, I was thinking about this earlier. We were together about a year, I think, when we were going on the show. And truthfully, I remember being like a little worried about it, because it's a big change and you're out in LA for a really long time. But like I said, he is incredibly supportive. And so if anything, having that like rock and having that unity of marriage, we have a lot of really tough conversations and we talk about our goals. Um, and so, if anything, I've talked about what I really want in my music career. Um, and he's just constantly like, okay, how are we going to get there? What do we need to do? What do you need from me? Like, just things like that. And so, he's been nothing but supportive the entire time. And I'm so, so thankful. Um, and I hope that obviously that just makes our marriage stronger by
Hmm.
supporting each other's goals. So,
Yeah. talk to me about the venue, the day. What do you remember about? You wake up. I mean, that's like, I think for every young woman, they envision their wedding day and they think about, you know, certain things. I always say it's not for the guys, it's for the girls, because if
Oh,
it was for
100%.
us, there'd be casino tables, there'd be big screen TVs playing sports, but there's not any of
Oh, yeah.
that. But it is beautiful. So talk to me about what you remember, the venue you picked out, all that stuff. Like I said, the pictures were beautiful.
Thank you. So when we got engaged, I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, obviously. I feel like you kind of know, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a traveler. I want to get married in the mountains. I want a destination wedding, you know.
Yeah.
And he was initially like, "Really? You wanna go someplace else?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, I do. I love the mountains, you know." So we had gone to Estes Park, Colorado. I think it was about 2 years ago now. Um, and we had gone there, and I was like, "I want to get married here. Like, it's just absolutely gorgeous, you know." And so as we're planning the day and everything, we actually, one of my biggest things was I was like, I want it to be a very intimate setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we picked Estes Park, I was like, I want to get married in the Rockies. Can you imagine those pictures? Like, to me, I'm just like, the pictures, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, I just want the mountains. I want, you know. So we're looking there, and then we find out that they have a cap as far as like how many people you can invite, which makes sense.
Sure.
But specifically, we were looking for the biggest place to have like the maximum amount of people, you know, because both of us have big families. Um, and we could only have 30 people. And that included him and I, our photographers, like every single body that was going to be there.
Yep.
So that made it a little more difficult. And so then we had decided that we were going to just do like immediate family, grandparents, and then some of our very closest friends. Um, and so, like you said, I wake up the morning of, sorry, let me back up a little bit. We get a Verbo as our venue. So instead of actually like having like a party, I was like, I just want to come back. Like, I want to get married at the place. I want to come back. And I just want to party with all my people. You know,
Yeah.
I want to remember everything about it, you know, because a lot of girls, and they invite so many people, which is incredible. And I love that. But sometimes you kind of get in the midst of everything and you don't really get to enjoy your wedding day with the people that you love so much, you know?
Sure.
So I was like, since we're having a very small wedding, let's get a Verbo. So our entire family stayed in the Verbo, which, mind you, this was the first time that like our grandparents had met. Our family had actually hung out. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh God, how is this going to go? You know?
Yes. Yes.
But it was just incredible. So we got there on Monday. We got married on a Wednesday, random. Our whole family got in on Monday. And by Tuesday morning, Brendan and I wake up and we go upstairs. And both of our families are sitting up. Brendan's dad's making breakfast. Everybody's just talking and chit-chatting and all. And they're just like, it made my heart so happy. I was like,
Yeah.
this is exactly what I wanted, you know? So then on the day of, the biggest like hurdle was keeping us separate. So we had this Verbo that had 2 stories. So all the girls were up on the top, all the guys were on the bottom. And so everybody's like shimmying us around, trying to make sure we don't see each other. And it went by so fast though, honestly. But, you know, we do all the getting ready and everything, have our ceremony. It's just stunning. It's like on a lake, mountains everywhere. And then what was really special was everybody got to head like back to the Verbo, and Brendan and I did our portraits because we didn't do a first look. So we did our portraits after, and then we had about 30 to 40 minutes drive back to the Verbo where it was just the 2 of us after the ceremony, which was so nice. So we got to like, you know, talk about it and just be together. And then we got back to the Verbo and we were like, all right, let's party, you know?
Yeah.
So, our parents were great. We did a lot of stuff like just ourselves, like all the decorations, but we had this beautiful balcony, mountains in the background. There were lights and, you know, the tables. And me being me, I was like, I want my comfort food on my wedding night, right? So we got this like pizza place that was like huge New York style pizzas, which I mean, you know the pizzas up north.
That's my thing is New York style pizza.
Hmm.
Yes.
Me
Yep.
too, being from, because I'm from Jersey.
Yes.
So I was like, we're getting pizza, we're getting good pizza.
Yes.
So there's this place in Estes Park that is New York style pizza. Absolutely incredible. So we come back, and like I said, we're just like having dinner, having speeches. Everybody spoke because we were just like, we just want to enjoy the moment, you know? And then afterwards, after dinner, we were like, all right, everybody, we turned some music up. And it was just basically like a college party type thing, you know? And we just had so much fun. And you could see everybody. We instead of doing like professional pictures for like the reception, we got disposable cameras and
Oh,
digital
so
cameras.
cool. So
Hmm.
cool.
So we gave like we put them on some tables, and we were just like, "Hey, everybody, grab a camera,
Yeah.
take pictures of yourself and your friends and everybody just hanging out." So we're waiting for those to get developed because I'm lazy and have not gone yet. um,
No, you're busy. What do you mean? You're busy.
you're right. Thank you.
You're
Makes me feel
welcome.
better. But Brendan and I can like actually go through it
Yeah.
together, and we can put them in an album. So it was just everything that we had ever envisioned, and it was just incredible being super like close and being able to celebrate with
Yeah.
people. Now, obviously, we missed a lot of family. So we're planning on having a party in 2026 here in Oklahoma, and
Fun.
then going back home to Jersey and having a big party there with my family. So,
Okay. Yeah, with the extended family, right?
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, it's so hard, right? Because it's like you said, and nothing against those people, but it ends up sometimes it can get to a point where you're like, yeah, but I worked with this person a year ago, and but we're still in the same office building, and it'll be awkward if,
Right.
and I'm like, so I feel like it can be incredibly stressful for
Oh
sure,
my
of
gosh.
course.
I can't
So
imagine.
yeah, and so I always when I hear your type of stories and things like that, like to me, I'm like, it should be a celebration. It should
Mm.
be just like you said. Like if people are like, "Oh, pizza," I'm like, "Go for it," because that's what I like. That's like okay, so what? I'm gonna spend money on prime rib because that's what should be done. You know what I mean? Like I
Hmm.
just like to me, I'm like, no, give me a pizza, give me some chicken tenders. We're good. We're good. We don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm
That.
telling you too, like when we do, it's so funny. There's a video, one of my girls took a video as we're coming in. So Brennan and I are cutting the cake, right? We're getting the pictures done. And then all of a sudden, everybody's clapping. So I'm thinking everybody's clapping because we cut the cake and blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I turn around and the food comes in and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
freaking out. Um, but a lot of people definitely had some opinions, on stuff like that. But I was like, dude, pizza's my favorite food.
Yeah.
It's our wedding. I'm gonna eat my favorite food on our wedding day. And then
Yeah.
we got changed. I got us matching sweatsuits that said bride and groom.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was fun. So after I was tired of being in that dress all day, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm getting my sweatpants.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
You know, the sad thing is like when I hear like things like that, right? Like people's opinions, what have you. Like, I have a, uh, I have a close friend. He's basically like my brother. I've known him since we were 9,
Oh.
and he's expecting his first kid. And he was like talking to me the other day about how people are having opinions on the paint in his kid's room, and I'm like, it's what you guys. Who cares? Like to me,
It's
I'm like.
wild.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I get it. Everybody has opinions, and I try to be respectful of that. But to me, I'm like, I don't understand. Like, if it doesn't affect you, why do you care that, like, to the point where you're that brutally upset about it, or whatever the case may be, or like, poo poo on somebody's parade? Oh, you had pizza? Like I can just imagine some of the ridiculous insults or some of the comments that people would make to that. And to me, I'm like, it's amazing. It's good. I love it. I'm the same way. I would
Who doesn't
give
like
me
pizza?
give me an 18-inch New York style pizza
Thank
any
you.
day of the week.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I think people just haven't had New York style pizza
That's
yet.
what it is.
Like,
Yeah. You know what? They
you
gotta
just don't
be.
know.
No, they don't know. They don't know.
They don't know. But I'm telling you, we definitely, when people say, you know, wedding season is difficult and you definitely find out who your people are,
Yeah.
um, everybody goes through it,
Yeah.
but we are so, so thankful. Um, because even though, there were hardships and stuff throughout because we were engaged for a year and
Sure.
a half, um, we're really thankful for that time in our lives because it really showed. And not even that there's anything, some people just go through different seasons in their lives, and some people are meant just for certain seasons of your lives.
That is true.
And so we are very thankful for that. And moving into this chapter, kind of like you said, now we're just kind of more aware. And I mean, things shift when you get married anyway, when you have kids, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just moving forward and, doing what you can.
Absolutely, and finding the beauty in it all. You said something that was so profound. Obviously, you like to cultivate relationships and you like to have them, sure, absolutely. But there is some peace in knowing that maybe that person was just there for a short time or for some reason, and not be so hung up on certain reasons as to why they're not talking to you or whatever the case may be. And so, yeah, I think that that's beautifully said, and I'll leave it there. We're going to spiral into a different part of the conversation, more so about you. And then I have a new segment called Yay or Nay, which I developed myself. All right. And
Yay!
yes, right now, where is Courtney getting her creative energy from?
Man, that's a good question. Put me on the spot. So it's crazy that you bring that up because I was actually talking to one of my best friends about this. And I really think that a lot of kind of what we were talking about, like seasonal changes, getting married, um, friendships, different relationships and everything. Um, and since we've gotten married and over the past year and a half of being engaged, like you said, there was definitely trials. And truthfully, it's kind of crazy because obviously I still performed pretty much like weekly. I was still booked almost every weekend, but I wasn't really writing as much during that time. And it's crazy because now I just started diving back into it. Now that wedding's done, I say they're slowing down. Christmas never slows down. But, going into the new year, one of my biggest goals is to put out either an EP or an album for my music. And so I was like, well, got to start writing some extra material. And so I think how much I've grown as a person over the past year and a half, how things have shifted in my life, how I've changed perspective on things or grown. That's kind of where the creative energy is coming from. And that's kind of what I'm leaning into, at least for some of these songs.
Right. Yeah, I love that. If you could give a piece of advice to someone who's apprehensive of trying to create music or trying to join a group or even has an opportunity like The Voice or even something on a minor scale than that, they're just so afraid and apprehensive of trying it, what piece of advice would you give to someone?
I think that for me personally, what I have to constantly remind myself of, and what I would tell somebody else, is that growth comes from the uncomfortable. So usually when you are uncomfortable, it's almost like you are right there for like a breakthrough. And so, and it's much easier said than done for sure, getting discouraged. But taking a step back sometimes is also good as well to take care of yourself, but not being scared of the uncomfortable. And even if you are, knowing that, having enough confidence in yourself to be able to be like, I can do this. I'm scared, but I can do this. And I'm just going to baby steps, and we're going to get there.
I was talking, so I work with some kids, and I was talking to them because they were doing like an audition for Jungle Book the other day, and they were like, I'm just so worried, I'm so stressed, I'm so anxious. And I said, that's all good. That's
Mm-hmm.
energy. Harness that
Yes.
and use that. And yeah, and so I love that because that's, similar to what you're saying in the sense of it, that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But that uncomfortability, you're right. Like, but being aware and knowing that when to take a step back is also a great piece of advice as well. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course. Thank
All
you.
right, we're gonna play yay or nay. Okay,
Woo!
so
I love games.
this is a new segment I made up. So I'm gonna say a topic, and you're gonna say yay or nay, and you're gonna defend why you say yay or nay.
Oh God, I
Okay?
feel like you're gonna hate me.
No, 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 no. That's okay. No, no opinions are judged on the Reyes Reflection.
You say that
Okay.
now.
I say that now until after this round of yay or nay.
Right.
A nickel being bigger than a dime is a gross miscarriage of currency justice.
Yeah, I feel like I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's weird.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
like, why is the dime smaller?
You
Like,
you're so right. And I feel like when I was younger, I had a bigger opinion on that, you know?
yes.
Like I'm like, when you're learning it,
yeah.
what the heck? So yeah, yay.
You're so confused. You're like, this makes zero sense to me. It's the smallest of all, but it's worth more than two other coins that are bigger than
Yes.
it. That makes no sense to me. Yeah.
You're so right.
Y is to vowels what Pluto is to planets.
Wait, what?
So you know how
Vowel.
people say, yeah, you know how people say Y is in a vowel, but it's not really a vowel.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Okay, okay.
And what Pluto is to planets.
Okay. I grew up with Pluto being a planet, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
I'm
did
like,
I.
no, it's still a planet. But why is not a vowel?
Okay.
I'm gonna die on that hill.
Okay. But see, you know how you talked about Pluto as a planet? Like, I want to know if these planets all had a meeting and were like, no, we're just kicking Pluto out today, right? Like, who was the bouncer in that club that was like, you're in, you're in, you're in, you're out?
Humans.
yeah.
Humans were like, nah, you're out.
Yeah.
Poor
I don't know.
Pluto.
I know. No, you know what? I feel like Saturn had something to do with it. Saturn seems like.
Honestly, valid. I could
yeah.
see it. I
Right?
could see
Saturn in the rings. They had something to
Yes.
do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They were like,
Yeah.
not good enough.
Yep. Not. Mercury. I heard from a reliable source. Mercury was fighting hard on Pluto's behalf, but it is what it is.
Man, I'm gonna take your word for that.
Yeah. Yeah. That semi-reliable source. Shampoo is soap, but soap is not shampoo. So
No.
you can, you don't think you can use
No.
shampoo as soap?
No. Do you use shampoo as soap?
I do not use shampoo as soap. No, no. But I will say this, in a pinch, if like let's say I don't have body wash and I was like, all right, yeah, but I'll use this shampoo, and then you've never done that? Never?
Okay, actually,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
You're so right. You're so right. I feel like at one point, if I didn't have body wash and I needed to shave my legs, I was like, shampoo's gonna have to work.
Yeah.
So you're right, but I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna judge people who do that, even though I've done it myself.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Let's see. I'm only saying it in the way of, like I said, like in a pinch, that
You're right.
I would use shampoo as soap, but I would not use soap as shampoo. Like if I had body wash,
Yes.
I would not use that as my shampoo.
Oh yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
All right.
I get that. That's valid.
Okay. The last one I have. Calling 24 hours a day gives no credit to night.
Yes. Well, okay, wait. Because I see what you're doing there.
What do you mean? I'm not. This is just yay or
What do
nay.
you mean?
This is just yay or nay. My new segment.
Okay. I don't know, because when I think of a day, now
Yes.
you're right. Because truthfully, when I think of a day, for some reason that day ends at like 8 p.m.
And then that's night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
if you say, oh, this is a 24-hour day, night is probably like, what's up with that? Like, where do
Yeah.
I fit into this? Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
you're like, I talked about my perspective changing
Yeah.
over the past like year.
Okay.
And now I feel like it's expanding even more.
It's been a year since we've seen each other. So
That's true.
so I'm glad I got to enlighten you.
Thank you so much. I thought you were going to speak on like food. And that's why
Okay.
I was like, oh God, you're going to hate me because
What?
I'm the pickiest eater.
Are you?
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
What do you mean by that? Like, are there certain things that you will not eat? You know what I'll have to do? Or no, next we'll have to do another one at some point. I'll
Yes,
come
I would
up
love to.
with the list of like the picky eater list and check off one by one, seeing which one. Have you seen those ones? It's like
Yes.
mayonnaise, pickles, like, and it'll go ahead and
Hate,
say,
hate.
yeah, see, okay, all right.
I'm telling you, have you seen those? Well, this is probably what you're talking about, like the posts that are like check off or like put a point
Yes.
for how many things you don't like and see how
Yep.
many points you have by the end of it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
normally the one that if there's 50 items, I have 48 points.
Mm-hmm. Am I am I
So,
am I coming in blurry to you?
yes, you are.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know why
No,
I am,
you're
but I just got a notification that said stabilize your internet, and I'm like, you know what? I can't. I don't know how to do that. What do you want
I
me
was
to?
gonna say, I was like, okay,
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
yeah. I'll go hoist myself up on the wire tower right now. Yeah.
Right?
All right.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
It's so good to catch up with you. I love seeing how much you've grown in the last
Mm.
year. I'm
You
proud of everything
too.
that you're doing, marriage, music, and more. Where can people follow you, find you, all that good stuff?
Yes, so you guys can follow me. Like I said, I still got my maiden name on my stuff. So at Courtney Hooker underscore is pretty much all my stuff. And then within 2026, it's all my music still going to be under Courtney Hooker. So keep a lookout for that.
Well, let's definitely not wait another year to chop it up. That is going to do it for this episode of the Reyes Reflection podcast. Big thanks to Jocko Fuel, SMACKIN Sunflower Seeds, and Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare. And to our listeners, remember, may you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I'm Oprah as a dude, and I love you all.